one and all. I'd like to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Sahana Prasad. Dr. Sahana Prasad is around 32 years of teaching experience in various capacities as lecturer, reader, assistant, and associate professor. Till November 2020, she was working as associate professor in the Department of Statistics, Christ deemed to be University, Bangalore. She has taught various topics in statistics, operation research, quantitative techniques, and data science to students of courses like chartered accountancy, company secretariat, commerce, economics, management, and many more. She has been a resource person in many training programs and given keynote lectures at many conferences and seminars. She has conducted workshops in SPSS, R, Excel, and has working knowledge of MATLAB, Lingo, Tableau, and Python. She has been awarded Statistical Capacity Building Award by World Bank to attend a conference in Paris, France, and has been featured in Asia Research News for her work in statistics. She has authored a book on application of statistical tools in social science research. This book deals with statistical concepts used in social science research. Each case, a detailed explanation of a techniques and also mentions the various errors which could occur during analysis. The outcome of this was a monograph well received by social science and statistics fraternity. She has completed PhD in applying operations and has about 40 presentations at conferences, seminars, and others at various levels. She has published around 20 papers in national and international journals and conferences. In addition, she has around 350 articles or a short stories published in various newspapers and magazines, and she has won an award for her literary work. I would now request the speaker, Dr. Sahana Prasad, to take over. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please let me know if there is any glitch in my presentation, if I am not able to hear. Anyway, I wish everybody a very happy Sunday morning to all people in India and a pleasant evening to people who have logged in from other places. As ma'am said, I was working in Christ till about 3 months back, and now I am currently based in US for a personal work. I'll be back in India in another 3 months. And when I'm here also, I'm very happy that I got an opportunity to talk to all of you regarding something which is very close to my heart, that is Excel. It is little surprising, I think, when we come to know that a mathematics or a statistics person is more liking Excel more than the other softwares, like probably R or MATLAB. But the fact is that Excel is something which is, so unique. It is very easy to use. It is so user friendly, and it is for everybody. Many people might think, engineering people may not need Excel. We have our own software. We use MATLAB. We use some other, most of the companies, like software companies, have their own software, have their own platforms. So why Excel? So the important thing in Excel is, as I said, is the usability and its flexibility to import from other platforms. So let us begin today's webinar. I'll just share my PPT with you. Yeah, I hope you're all able to see. So we will talk about Excel, and we will talk about Excel for research, because this is a curtain raiser for a conference, and I'm sure that many people here will be researchers. So let us see how Excel helps us in doing research. Okay. Now, we begin with the most fundamental unit in any research, be it in social sciences, engineering, medicine. Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So let's take off from there. So I was telling, what was I telling? I was telling that data is the most fundamental unit in any research. So suppose I'm a very famous person. The minute you put in my name, there should be no ambiguity. Everything associated with me should come on Google. So that kind of data, which, now for example, the roll number of a student. If you're just feeding the roll number of a student, you get everything about the student, where the student is from, what is his age, what is his mother's name, father's age, what was his marks, what is his, probably if you have collected, what are his hobbies, how much are his marks in various semesters, you come to know everything. So that one bit of data namely his roll number, will give you everything, all the information about a particular student. But unfortunately, in real life, we are not so lucky. We will not get the data so fast. How do we collect data? So data collection and data information is the next thing what we would like to focus on. Just a second. Okay. Now, what is research data and how is it different from other data which is available on the web? Now, data collected for a particular purpose. It could be for your MPhil or your PhD thesis or your master's thesis. It could be you're just trying to find out, what are the stocks and shares which are available. It could be that you're trying to find out the best possible detergent in the market. It could be anything. It could be as simple as I said, finding out the best toothpaste available in the market so that you can go and buy the toothpaste. You want to invest your money in some stock. You want to find out which is the best stock. So that also is research. So research data is in many formats. Now, why data format is important? See, we are all using now, the world is highly computerized and digitalized. I don't think any research happens without using a computer in any form. So, when you have research data, what are the various types of formats you can get the research in? Now, all these, what I have listed here, I'll just minimize this 1 second. Yeah. So, these are the type of data formats which we could have. Now, if you're doing some social sciences research, your data will be mostly qualitative. You'll be asking people, you like it or you don't like it. How did you feel after doing this? Now, for example, now COVID vaccine is being given to everybody. Now, what is the kind of data people will collect? Definitely, of course, the age. Then they will collect how are you feeling after taking the COVID vaccine? Are you feeling good? Are you having fever? Are you having cough? Are you feeling tired? Now, all this data will be qualitative. So the answer will be yes or no, or probably maybe. I'm not sure whether I'm having cold or not, but yeah, some irritation is there in my throat. So maybe I'll put the maybe data. Age, of course, will be quantitative. And the time I went, or the hour, the minute I went and had the COVID vaccine, probably would be the quantitative data. But many things will be qualitative there. And anything which will lead and which will help me in my research is my research data. Any single thing. And I think all PhD scholars here, many of you who are scholars, many of you who have finished PhD, all of you know that, when we are doing research, we have our laptops are loaded with data. And prior, people who have done it much earlier, I still remember one of my colleague was telling me she has one big gunny bag full of documents in her cabin, which she used for PhD. So all these are our PhD data. We don't want to throw it because we never know what would help us in writing our thesis. Okay. Now, what are the potential sources of data? Now, I don't have data with me. So what I can do is I can find out from people. Now, your conference is coming up. I'm also planning to present a paper. I don't have the data. I want to find out. So what I will do is I will first form a questionnaire and then I will administer the questionnaire to a lot of people. I'll circulate it. Or I get it from other researchers. Now here see what happens is when other researchers are involved, they might have collected something more or something less. We don't know, right? So when other researchers are there, we are not sure about the format and the type of data they have collected. Then we have the government data, which is easily accessible. And then we have organization data, probably, which is not so easy. If I ask you, please give me the names and date of birth and other details about all teachers or working in UVC, it will not be so easy. I'll have to give them a proper reason why I want the data. Then we have the data repositories and of course data from the web. Now, all these things say that data can be obtained in many ways. And I'm not, that is a very big topic. I'll not touch upon it. I think many of you know it is called primary and secondary data. When you yourself collect it, it is primary. When you get it from somebody else or somewhere else, it is called a secondary data. So here we have lot of data with us. And I think this is one of the biggest problems also when you're doing PhD, that there is so much data which is going to be of use to me, which is not going to be of use to me, which can I just throw away, which can I hold on. So then we come to analyzing data. Now, because the webinar is all about analysis, why do we need to analyze data? I have a huge bit of data, as I said. Probably, I have, if I say I want to buy a new toothpaste, so I can get the data from somewhere I'll have a long list of toothpaste there, which is whitening, which is making your jaw stronger, which is making your teeth more strong, which has salt in it, which has so many things in it, and so on. You get a large chunk of data. What is the use? I think many of us have this problem, this analysis paralysis. We have a huge chunk of Excel, especially you go to any corporate, sure, you'll see a lot of people practically, they'll be crunching numbers, their screens are filled with sheets and sheets of Excel data. What can we understand from that? If somebody gives me that, it is little, oh, we'll be overwhelmed. What is this? How is it? How are we going to start? Where are we going to start? Which is going to be the most important information? So we want to find out what is the important information, especially the summarization of data. I have observed that many people think that graphical and that is visualization of data is not so important. Oh, it is just a graph, a bar graph, a line graph. No, it is the most important thing because that will tell you how the data is trending. What is the trend of the data? Is it rising? Is it decreasing? Is it stationary? At what point? What's happening with the data? In fact, I had a student of mine who was working in a company in Bangalore, a software company. His job was just to create graphs and hand it over to the next person. Just that. He was not even supposed to analyze it, just create graphs. Because the data, the way data is moving, the way data is trending is very important to understand what is and how the situation is happening. What are the relationships? Now we were talking about COVID vaccine. What is the relationship between COVID and your secondary, your underlying conditions? People who have other problems may react more in a more bad way to COVID vaccine. We have to see that. And I came to know that some people who are taking these blood thinners and others, they are not given COVID vaccine because they have a doubt that it may accelerate or it may aggravate their situation. So, what is the relationship? If I take COVID vaccine and I have some subsidiary conditions, what is happening going to happen to me? You have these equipment in the lab. If I increase the pressure, at what point of time will the test tube burst or the machine will stop working? So I need to identify, is there a relationship at all? Or is it just my imagination? So, it is a very important saying. Wherever you can't use common sense, whatever you can say with common sense, you can always prove with statistics. Let me give you an example. You know that if there's big companies and or any big area, a building like a hospital or a hotel or a restaurant, whatever, and they all have very clean washrooms. They have very clean washrooms. And if I tell you that washrooms are related to productivity, many of you may not agree with me. Washroom we're just using for a couple of minutes a day. What is it? How is it related to productivity? To understand that, we need to go to a village and see how the children are studying without toilets. So definitely, if I tell my manager, see, my team is not performing because our washrooms are not up to the mark, he is going to say, definitely, I'm not going to waste time in or rehauling the washrooms. But I can prove it with the help of statistical data, with the help of statistical tools, that there is a relationship between bathrooms and productivity of people. So when we all tell our kids, or our spouses, please keep your room neat. It's looking so dirty. Look at your desk. It's so cluttered. What is the relationship between clutter and productivity? There is. You can prove it. You can prove it using a chi-square. Please note it in case you need it. That yes, a clean desk does have an effect on your productivity. So we have to identify relationship between variables and compare variables. Now, how do we compare? We generally, comparison is something which we do always. Okay, what did you do after 1 year of PhD? I have reached up to this point only. What did you do after 1 year of your job? I'm at this level. So you compare. And very important, I have to forecast. Okay, if I do this, this is what's going to happen. We cannot always, we are not God. So we cannot say, okay, this is going to happen. But to some extent, yes, we can say that this is what's going to happen if you use so much of fertilizer. I use this much of fertilizer in the field and I'm going to reap this much of crops. So like that, we may be able to forecast. And the difference. How is this variable different from the other? So these are some of the reasons why we need to analyze data. Yes, because of my job, because of my research, I have to understand and analyze data. That is always there. Apart from that, these are some of the reasons why and what happens when we analyze data. So when we want to take decisions, I think most of you are familiar, we have to take even small decisions in life. So always it is better to have data. Should I go to this place or not? Is it COVID free? So instead of just rushing over to that place, let me talk to people, find out how the situation is, and then go and make a good decision whether to go or not. Okay. Now, whenever we are doing any research, why do I need to analyze? What is the reason? As I said, my analysis could be just because I want to get a degree, I want to finish my MPhil, I want to finish my project. That is a good enough reason. Or I want to analyze patient data for today. I want to see how many patients have come in today with cold and flu. Should I revamp my flu clinic? I want to analyze data because I want to invest in some stocks. So let me use Excel. Again, I just focus on Excel. Let me use Excel to understand stocks and shares. Let me find out which is the company which is having which is in the high today, so that I can invest in that company. So I need to understand what is the reason to analyze data. What is my end result? What am I trying to prove? See, there is a very, I think all of you must have heard it in that book, Alice in Wonderland. Alice asked the cat, where is this road going? Then the cat asks her, where do you want to go? She said, I don't know. Then the cat says, okay, then it doesn't matter, right? So when we don't know why we are analyzing the data, then it really doesn't matter, because we don't know what we want to do. What are we trying to find? So if we should have a clear cut objective when we analyze data. This objective is important because it will be the index, it will show us the path as to which direction should I take. Then I collect data. Very important, cleaning of data. In fact, I'm going to focus a bit on that. I think many of you may already be knowing, so it will just be a revision for you. Then we analyze data. The lot of statistical tools are there, mathematical tools are there. Then we interpret it. So these are the important steps. See, these steps can be broken into further steps, but these are the main steps which are helpful for understanding and interpreting data. This is something which I really like. See, you do a lot of things in school and college. Ultimately, when you go to a job, you go back to Excel. It is, ironical, because Excel can do all those things which you did in school manually in a much easier way. But that doesn't mean, it just doesn't mean we should be like this kid who says, let's go into Excel and do everything and then we'll go have lunch. We'll go and play till we have lunch. No, Excel can be used only if you're strong in your other aspects. You cannot hope to use Excel if your knowledge, basic knowledge about your own field is not there. See, Excel is just a software. Now, let me give you a very simple example. You have data in one column regarding, say, the number of people who have, say, gone to the beach and drowned. Another column in which you have the number of people who have eaten ice creams. So what you do is, Excel, statistics, a little bit of mathematics. So what you do is you happily calculate the correlation. You get that there is a strong correlation between ice cream eating and drowning in the sea. Now, Excel will not tell, see, there is no, you use your brains, you use your common sense, there is no relationship. Excel will not tell you, it will give you the answer. Whatever, garbage in, garbage out, that is always there. But your common sense should say, this cannot be possible, right? Eating ice cream should not lead to drowning in the sea. So what is the reason? Oh yeah, one reason could be that in summer people eat a lot of ice creams. In summer people go to the sea, so the drowning cases will be more. So these kind of common sense things, Excel will not be able to help you. That is really sad, but that is the truth. So Excel will help you only when you know what you have to do, what your aim is, what your objective is. From there, you use Excel. Yes, if you know what you want to find out, as I said, suppose you want to revamp something, you want to find out how many people have fallen sick after taking COVID vaccine, please use Excel. But you should know what is the objective. So we need Excel, and as I said, this is just a joke to make your day. Okay. So why Excel? You might all people who have used, who are like date back a little longer. We all remember we had this Lotus 123. I don't know how many of you remember. It was also a spreadsheet. Many people ask what is the difference between a spreadsheet and an Excel. Excel is a spreadsheet. Simple. It's a spreadsheet. It has rows and columns. It has a lot of capacity to do many things, which becomes a little difficult when you're doing manually. Few years back, when there was no Excel, people were still analyzing data. Now, I think all of you must have heard that joke. Whenever the weatherman says, whenever in the news they will say it will rain, it will definitely not rain. But nowadays, it's not like that. When they say it is going to rain, it will rain. When they say there is going to be a tsunami, there will be a tsunami. What do you think is the reason? The reason is that we have more data now. We have now, for example, now many of you are attending my seminar today. Now, some of you may feel, yes, it was of great use. Some of you may feel that it was not of much use. Some of you may feel that, yes, I could have probably, if I attend the next session also, I may get more clear idea. So each one of you has a different opinion. Only when I collect information from a large number of people can I get to know what is the right or what is the average information. So like that, Excel is a spreadsheet in which you can enter and use a large amount of data for analysis. It's not that you cannot do it without Excel. You can, but it is definitely more tedious. Manual work is always more tedious. We all know that. So there are a lot of functionalities in Excel which we have to understand, which we have to use. Then we will come to appreciate what Excel can do, how it can help us. So some of the few things I would like to say. One aspect, as I said, is that it can handle large amounts of data, large amounts of data. In fact, I think even R is not that much capable of handling data. Excel has, that is the reason it is very much used in industry. I would request all of you to, especially the youngsters, to go and search in LinkedIn what are the essential Excel skills which are required for entering an industry, some of which I'll be discussing today. And those Excel skills, you will be very surprised to find that they're quite simple skills. They're not big skills, huge skills, where you have to spend a lot of time and money in understanding and learning that. They're simple skills. And then it will help you. It has a lot of functionalities. I think many of you have used Excel. It has fonts, it has attributes. You can color it, you can sort it, you can filter it, you can put in different colors, you can make it into a PPT, you can export it, you can import it, a lot of things. Yes, Google Sheets are there. In fact, I'll talk about that in a minute. Then we have the Excel Online. It doesn't have all the functionalities of Excel, but yes, if you're not having your own Excel Microsoft package, you can definitely use that. Then you have the Open Office. Some of you are maybe also using that. And Excel, as I said, will is very easy to integrate with other platforms. I'll come to that in some time when I talk about why Excel is important for engineers. So I have collected data, or I've collected data, I have data is collected by somebody else, or I have a mixture of both. So what I do is I generally import. I'll just show you a screenshot here. This is the data which I have taken from one of my own questionnaires. So this was a survey which we did which I and my student we did last year regarding digital media consumption during COVID. So here there is a list of questions. I'll just show you. So this was a Google Google form which we used. These were the questions. It was a very simple study which we did just to understand how people reacted during COVID times. And these were the responses we got. This was Google form, so it has already analyzed it for us. It has kind of charted it, not analyzed. Analysis we did. Then these are responses. You just click on that Excel sheet there, which I showed you, and then the whole thing will get downloaded as an Excel sheet, which can be used for analysis. So we just have, when you want to import from Google Sheets, you just go to the click button there, which I showed you, and then the whole thing will get imported as an Excel sheet. This is one of the very important uses of Excel, because you can just download. Okay. Um, I, because of lack of time, I'll not be able to show this. I'll just quickly explain what happens here. You can import Excel from other places. As I said, this is one of the most important functionalities from Excel. You want to import it from the web, you want to import from a CSV file, you want to import it from another Excel, you want to open another Excel in your Excel, you want to club two Excel sheets, you want to create a table, you want to create a query. Yes, all this you can do. Now, the next question you would be asking is, how do I learn all these things? Nothing, simple. Download an Excel sheet, you have lot of data sets on internet, download, start practicing. That's all. There is no shortcut, there's no pill which can tell you, okay, do this and then you know Excel. No way. Even in this 1 hour, I'm just going to give you a glimpse, because Excel has multiple level functionalities. There is something in Excel for everyone. As I explained in the beginning itself, there is something in Excel for practically everybody here. Okay. Now, what happens is, the data which we get, see, if I'm collecting data, I'm collecting data like I showed you from 200 people. So I was using a Google Forms. I simply imported it. Many times it doesn't happen like that. I have to talk to people. I have to take measurements from my lab, and I have to enter data. Then definitely there will be some errors. So a lot of errors will happen when you're entering data. And these errors will lead to a lot of issues. One very simple thing I tell you. You are asking your colleague, okay, please fill this Excel sheet for me. So what happens? Your colleague is filling in, everyone's having their own times of fatigue, having a cup of coffee in between, and by mistake, the space bar gets pressed. I'll show you that in a minute. There is a lot of blank space in the middle of the data. Now, all these will affect the analysis. It will affect the analysis. It will also affect how the data looks like. So you have to clean the data. Cleaning data, I have just given you a few main things, which are used for data cleaning. There are many more. These are the simple things which could happen in Excel. Let me show you. Okay, I'll just show you the two things here. Uh, okay, see, this is again, okay. I have taken a part of the data which I showed you, which was from my own study, because I did not want to use other data sets for my presentation. So this is the data set which I have taken, part of it. And you see that some of them, one second, yeah. See the blank spaces, people have not filled in. They have left it blank, whether by mistake or whatever it is, they have left it blank. So what do? We select the whole thing and press F5. See, the cell which is highlighted here is the active cell. There I'll say not available or not applicable. And then I press Control Enter. If I just press Enter, what happens is, just a second, okay, it's gone to this. 1 minute. If I just press Enter, only the first cell will be filled with any. Now imagine you have a huge data set, and then there are many places where there is no data. Say, for example, you have given the questionnaire. Generally when we go to a hospital, when we go to a lab, when we go to any place, they ask us to fill in some questions. So we fill it there, and if we are filling it properly, it will be so much easier for them. But suppose, people by mistake or deliberately, suppose somebody asks me, what's your salary? I don't want to tell. So I leave it blank. So what happens here is, then the data will not be consistent. So somebody is evaluating the salary of people of my age or my experience, then there will be an issue. So there are other ways that we will not discuss now to fill in those data. But right now, here what we do is, as I showed you, you select. It happens at one go. Even if you have many blank spaces, you select the entire data plus F5. Again, there are many ways of doing it. And then type in, and then you press Control Enter. Small things, are important here. As I said, if you don't press Control Enter, if you just press Enter, only the first cell will be filled. You want to fill in the average value, you want to fill in some other value, the general value, you can use that instead of that. Now, this is how you remove spaces. 1 second, just pass by. So I have just given 3 examples. There is a gap in between, by mistake it has happened, and here there is a gap in the beginning. There could be trailing spaces, people leave, people just press space bar after entering. So what we do here is that we have a data which is not looking neat. Also, it is when you're using it for presentation, it gives a very bad impression that each data is of a different kind. So 1 second, it has to run from the beginning. This is very much of use when you're borrowing data from somebody. If you're creating your own data and you're doing it fine, then they won't have the need for this. Yeah. So this is how you do here. As I said, this is data which has some spaces here. Let that get over. In fact, in the workshops I conduct in Excel, I conduct one full session on data cleaning. So here there are empty spaces. So what I do here is I select and I use, and I think everybody knows that whenever we are using formulas in Excel, we have to use the trim function. So trim, it takes the cell reference or it takes the text itself. Trim, of course, is used for text. See, now the whole thing has got done. So these are some of the things which you can do in Excel. As I said, I will not be touching upon each and every part of it. There are a lot of things, as I said, data cleaning by itself would be practically one whole session. Okay, now what are the Excel functions? Now these are the functions which give Excel its edge. These are the USPs of Excel, some in many ways. You have the financial functions, the statistical functions. Very important. Now let us say you want to compare 2 groups of people with respect to their reactions to COVID vaccine. These two could be they could be male and female, gender wise, they could be age wise, they could be people with underlying conditions, without underlying conditions, and so on. So this analysis can be used, can be done using Excel. These are the statistical hypotheses. I think many of you would have heard of ANOVA, ANCOVA, MANOVA. All these can be used in Excel. You don't need to go in for sophisticated softwares. Incidentally, one of my friends who is a top person in GSK was sharing with me how they use SAS for all clinical trials and their reporting. Government has mandated that all clinical trial reports have to be in SAS. So they have to go in for SAS. But otherwise, Excel can do many things what SAS can do. Not everything, many things. And yes, to some extent, Excel expects you to understand some kind of statistics because it will not give you a report form. It will give you a value. To understand that value, you need to understand how that works. R in fact will give you, R will say, okay, this is the correlation, this is much is the coefficient of determination and so on. But Excel will not give you, it will not write for you. It will, so to speak, it will give you the value. Then manipulation of text. As I showed you a very simple manipulation of text. And then a lot of data text manipulations can happen. Now you have a group of people in your office, one person leaves and the other person's name has to be filled in. So without disturbing the others, without disturbing the other columns and all, you can just do the text manipulations. Date and time, very important. And date and time calculations are also important because of simulations. I'll come to that in some time because there are a lot of engineers here. So simulation would be of use to you. Then we have a lot of referencing, the logical operations and mathematical and trigonometrical. And yes, see, willy-nilly, we all have to understand mathematics, especially as engineers. It is there, you cannot have a very superficial knowledge and expect to get away with it. You should have an in-depth knowledge of mathematics, and then Excel becomes so much more easier to use. Then you have the user defined functions which we define for our own. We can write our own functions, very easy, very simple. Just put in the formula, you can. And Excel, unlike R, is not dependent on programming. I think people who have also used R will know, if you're a programmer, fine. Otherwise, it is difficult. You will be trying to search where the errors happen. So it stops at that particular point and we'll be trying to figure out where is that error which has stopped the execution of the whole thing. what are the options? Ma'am, can I know how much more time I have so that I can just modify?
Mm, now it is 11:11 here, Sahana, till
Okay.
11:30. That
Okay.
means
So
you
I'll
have,
try.
yeah, 20 minutes more.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so
But
much.
it is very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
know.
let
I'm
us
trying.
see.
No, no, I'll try to wind up because I don't want,
Yeah,
probably I'll keep 5-10 minutes for question answer session.
yeah,
Somebody wants to share something. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Very nice, very
So,
nice, Sahana.
yeah, thank you. Okay. Now we have what, as I said, what are the some of the tools? See, I'm listed this what I say. Just a second. Let me stop this share in a minute for a minute. I will share an Excel sheet here. Yeah, this is our Excel. Now, see here. I, as I said, I was telling you how, suppose somebody doesn't have a knowledge of Excel, where do you start with? Just go to any Excel, start from here. Try to understand. Now, see here, there are so many options. Very important thing is that you go here and you access all of these. And you want to do some special calculations, go for add-ins. I'm deviating a bit. I'll come back to my PPT in a minute. Now here you have something called the analysis tool pack. Very, very important for analyzing data. Very important. Analysis tool pack has a lot of things which will help you to easily summarize the data. You may have about say 10,000 values. With analysis tool and with Excel, ordinary Excel also you can do, it's not that, but with analysis tool pack, it will give you everything. It will give you the mean, standard deviation, the skewness, the shape of the data, everything. It will help you to do comparisons. It will help you to find the correlation, regression, everything. Solver add-in is very useful for those who are doing your PERT CPM, your operations research concepts. Anything, it is mainly a linear programming software, and Solver add-in you should have. So this will be under add-ins. So you, after that you select your add-in and then you click OK, go here and then click OK. Coming back here, I'll just show you, as I showed you, this was the data, how you import data. This is your stock and shares. You can explore geography, where you're situated, your location, geographical locations. And here comes, I'll go, come back to it in a bit, your important what if analysis. What happens if this happens? What happens if they change the pressure of the equipment? What happens if they change the dosage of the medicine? What happens if I don't study for 2 hours today? This is your what if analysis. Very important. It has a goal seek command which you need to, which you should actually explore. So I just wanted to show you this so that you have an idea of what all Excel can do. Generally, our operations will be here. We have a conditional formatting, we have a sort and filter, we have find and select, and so on. And you also see that there's a data analysis tab, right? This is your creating patterns. So let me stop this share in now. I'll go back to my PPT. Just a minute. I don't know why it's not. Yeah. So Excel has these features which are very important for us to understand and draw conclusions. Now the lookup features. Now, for example, you are having data from one particular source. The one common element. Now let's take for example, you had this old, how would we see our results when the results were announced? Now you can get it on SMS, you can go online and find your results. Otherwise, do you remember we used to go to this school, first row will be the roll numbers, second row will be the names of students, then there would be marks. So what we would first do, we'll find our roll number, then we'll find our name, then we move our fingers like this, And then we find the marks of our marks in different subjects. So lookup functions in Excel is just like that. You look up something horizontally or vertically and across sheets. So this is one of the features. We have the conditional formatting. I want to know those people who are above 70 and who got fever after taking COVID vaccine. Use conditional formatting. Sort. I want to know all those test tubes which broke when I increased the pressure to this much. So sort it. So these kind of tools will help you to analyze your data better. Macros. I'll just deal a bit about macros. Suppose I want to do something again and again. No, example, let's take a very simple example of our household budgeting. So we do it every month. I have my share of budgets. I do it. I have rows and columns. I enter everything. I find out whether I'm running in deficit or plus. And then I have to repeat it. So instead of creating a new worksheet every time, use macros. Macros is for repetitive things. Every screen is a mouse movement, every keyboard movement is recorded in macros. And macros will store it under a particular name which you can use again and again, and then you don't have to enter or you don't have to type in the formulas many times. That's the use of macros. Just a second, suddenly it gets stuck. Yeah. Okay. Now a bit about referencing. This, of course, if you have used Excel, you would already be knowing, but referencing is a very, you may not think, what's so great about referencing. There is something very great. Now, if you're selling products, the first 5 products have 18% GST. The next 10 products have 10% GST. So that time you need to have an absolute and relative referencing. The first 10 students, my first 10 entries have to have this much extra marks. Something like that, if you have, then we have to have a referencing. Referencing is very important when you talk about data. It will, sometimes we need to have one value which is fixed throughout and some values which change. I think everyone in Excel who have used Excel knows the fill handle. You go to the corner of the cell and then you get a plus sign. You just hold on to it and just pull it down. That's the fill handle. If you don't use proper referencing, the fill handle will fill all sorts of junk into your sheet. So you have to be very careful and incorporate referencing as a part of your data analysis. And as I'm mentioning all the important things which you know, which you need to know when you're doing Excel. Now comes, as engineers, why should I use Excel? I use MATLAB. Definitely, please. MATLAB has a lot of functionality for engineers, and you can use Excel. You can have a combination to make it so much easier. And as I said, it has many functionalities which engineers can use. I'm focusing on engineers because I think here the majority are engineers. So many engineering problems can be solved. How do you solve? Now you will ask me, what is the meaning of solving? Can you give some examples? Definitely. See, as I said, the first thing is tell me a problem. Then I will tell you what tool to use. Suppose you say, okay, my MPhil thesis is on this. Then I will tell you, yes, you can use Excel in this way. So first you have to tell me your problem. There is no one size fits all. I cannot say, okay, use this and you'll get your answer. If that was case, doing PhD and MPhil would have been so much easier for us. In fact, I do remember once there is a software in economics called eViews. It is used for analyzing economic data. Especially, I was once using it for a stock market problem to find the volatility of stock market. And I attended a seminar in which people were using all these other softwares, and then I said that using eViews, it is so much easier. That time eViews was just coming into the picture. Now, of course, almost all the economics people use it. And then one person, a very aged person, I still remember, he asked me, okay, if you're using eViews to do data analysis, what is your role? It was kind of surprising for me. Of course, he's an old timer who thinks that many people still feel that only when you have a pencil and a paper and then you work out, that is still only research. Then I told him, sir, eViews helps to do better data analysis. Instead of having 2, 3 company stocks, I can compare multiple stocks. I can compare the volatility. I can say how the amount is moving and how the company stocks are rising and falling across the globe. You can do it manually. It's going to be very tedious and it's not going to be efficient. So that is where. So when I say you can solve engineering problems, you have to tell me what is your problem, then I can give you the solution. Definitely yes. So goal seek analysis, what I told you, the lookup index match function, please make a note. The students who are using Excel, these are very important for your engineering work. You have user defined functions. You can define your own functions and they said record it in a macro. So next time you don't have to write the formula again. Then I know what happens is now you have got the data from your colleague. Now their data has a lot of errors. Or you've got it from your boss. Obviously, you cannot say, okay, see, the data you've given me has so many errors. What do I do now? And worst comes, what happens? That person might have left the company also. Now, what do? You're stuck with the data. So you can use Excel to clear out the data. See, that's a very important thing. Use Excel, clear out the data, then use it in any other software. Most companies have their own platforms plus Excel. I'll come to it in a minute. Plus Excel, because Excel can be uh, used along with many more software. So what the intelligent companies have done is they have married Excel with their company softwares. Use Excel in combination. So if you say when you go for a job interview, you say I know how to use this particular software, and I don't know how to use Excel. Definitely, it will be taken as a negative remark. So much more faster. It can be communicating formulas we have, and you have the fitting of the equation, the line of best fit. Most of us know we have a trend line which shows the way data is moving. So that can be easily done through Excel. Excel is highly used for regression and correlation. I think many of you know what it means. It tells us whether there is a relationship between 2 or more variables. If at all there is a relationship, what is a mathematical relationship, so that when you plug in one value, the other value automatically comes. So Excel is very important for that. Then you have your visualization. As I said, please do not think that my data visualization is something very easy or something very elementary. It is elementary, but it is very powerful. So what are Excel? So as I said, you can have it for transferring data, you can have it for computing many things. Cleaning up the data is very important. And then what happens is you use Excel, as I said, to have the initial calculations, then you move on to a bigger platform. See, this has an advantage that your data is already stored in your Excel sheet. So you can always come back and then you can look at it when the situation has changed. You can share it with your colleagues. You can do collaborative work. All those things are possible. Analyzing and predicting trends and time efficiency is very important. So I've just given a few points here, and the PLM, it can be integrated with that. And then the failure and effects analysis you can do. You can talk about graphics. You can talk about built-in functions. And as I said, when you're using Excel, your algebra, calculus, integration, numerical analysis, all these things can become very easy. Numerical analysis where you have to integrate, I think all of you will be using it in your work. It can be very well done using Excel. Very easy and very simple. Once you know how to do it, you can definitely make use of it. Probably in the next subs of the sessions, we can deal about Excel for some specific engineering problems. Yes. Now, what is happening? What has happened in my work? What is going to happen? This prediction is what quality management is all about. I want to know, I want to analyze. I think all of you would be knowing Japanese are the forefront in quality management. They have the ultimate quality control techniques. Why? They have very simple techniques. I think those who know those parameters of Japanese quality control, they're all very simple. They're not something, rocket science. They're not like that. They do it right the first time. Simple. Their mantra is do it right the first time. Let the product not come back for repairs. That is why Japanese, I still remember once, when quite a few years back, when lifts were not very much in vogue, And they used to make a lot of noise. You might be remembering there used to be two doors. You have to close the first door and then the other door, and each door closing would have a lot of noise. Then came these Japanese lifts, so smooth. No, you wouldn't even know that the lift door has closed and you're moving up. So, as I said, just deviated from it to explain how Excel can be used in quality control. Control charts, control chart operations can be done in using Excel, which are helpful in understanding how the product and how the team is performing. This was a data I got from some website where they told whether Excel has increased or decreased among engineering people in the industry. So the overall overwhelming answer is that Excel has it remained constant and to some extent increased also. And as I said, the many people have integrated Excel with their company software so that Excel's utility can be used to the maximum. So these are some of the problems which I have taken. And as I said, it is very difficult for me or for anybody for that matter to tell you, okay, you can use it for this particular purpose. You can, but I will not be able to visualize and tell you all the engineering problems which can use Excel. So that I hope you're getting the point. So first you have to understand what you're trying to do and how best Excel can fit into your situation. So solving the problem where the problem is arising. Very important one, very interesting thing I will share, and after that I think we can. Yeah, this was my last slide. I'll just share with you a very important, very simple and easy to understand. Now, engineering people are very well versed in quality control. You know that there are chance causes and assignable causes. Causes are those which you cannot remove. That's the random noise. The noise what you get. When you're getting data from the satellite, you are not getting it the way they show. So India doesn't look so beautiful as they show. They would actually have filtered the data. They would have removed the unwanted things, and they would have shown you only the noise or the error would have been removed. Now, this kind of chance causes will be the chance causes are always present. You cannot wholly omit it. So, to understand what is a chance cause, what is an assignable cause is very important. Suppose a bus driver is doing a routine round and every Friday he is coming late. Now, you want to find out what is the reason. Is it a chance or assignable cause? You do some analysis and you find out, yeah, he's passing through an area where probably there's a temple, there's a lot of rush in the temple, he's not able to pass through the area very fast. Now, this is an assignable cause. But suppose he's late without any reason, you're not able to find the reason, that becomes an assignable cause. So when you're talking about understanding this chance and assignable causes, Excel can help you. Excel can help you to draw the control charts, show you whether it's in control or out of control, and then from there you can take off. Can I use Excel for qualitative data? Just now I was talking to you. Every time you will not get. Now, if suppose you go to your doctor, your doctor says, "Are you feeling chills?" You will not say, "I have got this many chills." You will say yes or no. Are you feeling? Is your nose blocked? Yes, it is blocked, or it's not blocked, or a little blocked. So these are all qualitative data, and your whatever your measuring instrument, is your measuring instrument faulty? Is it yes or no? It cannot be anything else. So that time what happens is that you get a qualitative data. So Excel for qualitative data is a full lesson or a portion in itself. Excel can deal with qualitative data. I just taken the screenshot from a very important study for people who are using qualitative data rather than quantitative data. But more on it sometime later. So I'll close. Thank you for being with me on this Sunday morning or Saturday evening. And I really hope I gave you some good insights into Excel. If there are any questions, I would like to take it up.
Very nice.